that is what we're going to be making today. 3¼ inch long jerkbait. Alright, so I drew that out on the piece of wood, and now I'm going to go cut that out. I'm not going to be sawing it this time. I'm just going to be carving it with a knife, since it's not too hard to do, and this isn't a big lure, so I can just easily carve down to those lines. Alright, so now that I got that carved out, I'm going to take that to the disc sander and sand it up to the lines so that it looks nice. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm just going to be using some sandpaper to sand this to shape. Alright, now that I've got that sanded down to those lines, I'm going to go ahead and cut the lip slot. Alright, so that lip slot is cut, and I've gone ahead and drawn on the top view profile on this thing. So now I'm going to be carving down to those lines, and yeah, I'm just going to be carving down to those lines. Okay, so that's all carved down to shape. So now I'm going to be sanding that down so it's a lot smoother. Okay, now that that's all done, I guess it's on to drawing the chamfer lines. And one of you guys commented on the last video that you wanted me to explain what's the whole point of the chamfer lines. And the point of chamfer lines is just because you want to make your bait round, kind of like this one from the last video, how it's got like the rounded corners, and the profile is more round and it's not just a block of wood. And the chamfer lines just make it so that you don't have to go like sanding the whole thing around from square to round. It just gives you so that you kind of get a little head start when you're sanding. That way you're not just sanding it round from a complete block shape. It's already kind of round. It's like hexagon to circle instead of like square to circle, you know. So yeah, hope that cleared up your question. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep drawing those chamfer lines, and I'll be back when I'm done. Then we're gonna carve those lines out. And like it doesn't really have to be any specific. Like width from the side, like whatever will look good for the lure will work. Like, yeah, like I've got those drawn up now, those sides, that so like where those lines are is where I'm going to be carving to. That way it's, yeah, I'll just show you. But yeah, like that. Those are all carved, and as you can see, it's no longer just a block. It's like kind of rounded. So now when you sand that, it's gonna be nice and round, and you won't have to do a whole lot of sanding. Just a little bit, just round off the corners that are still there, which is a lot less than it would be if you weren't to carve those chamfer lines. But yeah, and see, up there it's already like rounded off. So yeah, you just do that with all of the places where is needed, where there is corners, so that it's nice and rounded and smooth. And yeah, that's why you want to do those chamfer lines. It saves you a whole lot of time. Instead of sanding, it just speeds it up. A lot less sanding is needed to get the bait round. Alright, so that is nice and round now. I think I'm gonna mark out those eye holes, and then we're gonna drill those out. Alright, I marked out where those eyes are supposed to be. So now I'm gonna drill those out. I got some bigger eyes in recently, so I'm gonna be using a 5/16 inch drill bit. But since this isn't a Forstner bit, I don't want it to be sliding around and like completely mess it up. So I'm gonna start off with just a 1/4 inch drill bit, just so that like the 5/16 inch one has something to catch on. Yeah. And while I got that 1/4 inch drill bit in here, I'm going to be drilling the weight holes out with that. So yeah. Alright, there are those weight holes. Now I'm going to be putting in the 5/16 inch drill bit. Alright, so I got those eyes drilled out bigger, and I also got the lead holes drilled, and I'm just going to be filling those in right now. So I've just got this mini blowtorch that I used to melt it. I got this for like $7. So, and I've got this lead from like an old fishing weight. Yeah, so I just melt that down. Guess my mini blowtorch is out of fuel. Alright, I got a new mini blowtorch. Not a new one, but just one we had already. Just different one. Alright, there's the lead in the holes. Now I'm just gonna fill that up with some baking soda and super glue. Got some of that here. So first what I do is I cover up those holes with some baking soda. Doesn't have to be neat, as long as it covers up the hole completely up to the top. And sometimes you can pile it up a little bit higher, because you're gonna end up sanding it down anyways, so it's better to have more than less than what you need. Okay, now just take some super glue. You can use basically any super glue unless it's the gel kind, but just any kind of liquid super glue. Just drop that on there and it like instantly cures the baking soda into a hard plastic. Oh, it burns if it gets in your nose. The fumes are pretty strong on this stuff. Okay, so that stuff is already hard, and sorry, I'm tearing up from the fumes. And now you just now I'm just gonna sand that down. If I can find my sandpaper. Alright, now you're just gonna sand that down. Spilt a whole bunch of it on the rest of the body, so just cleaning that up too. Alright, that's sanded down flat with the rest of the body. I think now I'm gonna put in the hardware for this, like the line tie and the hook hangers. Yeah. Alright, so I got the hardware made for this bait. It's just some screw eyes that I twisted up with some wire. Just out of some of this lock wire. So I'm just gonna screw those in and glue them in with some super glue. also made a lip for this thing. Yeah. This one's out. Yeah, I just made a lip out of some plastic. It's not very thick, but put some super glue on those screw eyes and then twist them in. And then line it up so that it's straight. Like that. And then you just do that with the rest of them. Alright, all those screw eyes and whatever are in. So now I'm going to be gluing in this lip. First I gotta get it lined up to the way that I want it to be, so that it's nice and straight. And once I have got it straight, then I'm gonna put some glue on it. Some super glue on it. Just like that. You want to get it as close up to the edge as you can, so that it touches both the wood and the lip. Get some in the ends. Yeah. Alright, now we're gonna wait for that to dry. And then let's on to painting this thing. Alrighty. Alright, so as you saw, I taped off that lip, and now it's on to painting. So I'm going to be starting off with just a base coat of white. That just helps with all the colors that come out, and usually the bellies on these things are white, so yeah. Alright, so I was deciding what to paint this thing, and I was thinking about either a rainbow trout paint scheme or a perch paint scheme, and I just realized that I already painted a perch jerkbait before, So I think I'm gonna go with a rainbow trout, and for that I'm gonna be using this neon green just for the back. Like, it won't be that bright in the end, but yeah, I'm just starting off with that. Like that. Got that green there. Yeah, see, that green fades into the white at like the halfway point. So now that I got that done, I'm gonna be going along the top with this darker green. It's kind of like a mossy green. Yeah, just doing that along the top, and that'll give it kind of like that rainbow trout. This is gonna be more like a neon kind of rainbow trout, like not the real colors, but with lures, you know, you gotta exaggerate the colors a bit to make them look good. That green on the top is painted. I ended up bringing it down a lot more than I was originally going to, but I think it still looks good. It fades into that neon green, and yeah. So now I'm gonna be painting on the scales. I've just got this thing that I made that has the scale mesh there, and you can just hold it down instead of clamping it. I'm just gonna be going over that with some silver. Yeah, I'm gonna be going along the belly and kind of fading into the green. Yeah, so I hope it works out good. Alright, so now that I got those scales on, I'm going to be painting the gills, and I just quickly cut out this template of some gills, and I'm going to be painting on some black for those. Like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that with the rest of the gills on both sides, and I'll be back with you with the next color. Alright, those gills are painted, or the black part of them is, on both sides. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the same template, and I'm going to be placing it on the line, except what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to move the template up from, if I line it up with the stuff that I already painted in black and move it up a little bit. So now I'm gonna paint that in white. Like that, how there's like that black line behind the white. Now I'm going to do that with the rest of the gills, just like I did with the black, and I'll be back with you when I'm done. Alright, there are the finished gill plates. So now I'm going to be painting that pink lateral line that a rainbow trout has. Yeah, I'm just using some neon pink that I mixed with a bit of white, so it's not as bright. So alright, there's that lateral line. All we have left to do is paint on those spots that rainbow trout have on the top of them and everywhere. Alright, so as I just said, we're on to painting those black spots. Yeah, there's not much else to say. We're just gonna be dotting those on with a paintbrush. Alright, there it is with those dots, and I think that looks pretty sweet, not gonna lie. Yeah, so now I'm gonna paint those eyes, some eyes for this thing, and it's onto the clear coat, and then it's done. Alright, so I got those eyes painted up. What I'm gonna do is, instead of actually painting the back of the glass eyes, I'm gonna actually put some powder in the eye socket and like compress it down, and that will give it color behind the eye, and these eyes will then glow in the dark, and it'll look really cool. And this glow powder isn't any like super special glow powder. I found it on Amazon. It's meant for like slime, for like kids slime but it works really good for lures or just anything. It glows really good. Now I'm just gonna get one of these ready, and I'm gonna put a drop of super glue on there. Oh man. Runaway eye. Then I'm just gonna put that eye down in there. Oh man, no. This eye does not want to cooperate. There. That eye is pretty big. The pupil is pretty thick. But as you can see, there is color on the eye. So I'm just going to do that with the other eye, and then it's on to the clear coat. Okay, so for the clear coat on this thing, I'm just using some 5-minute epoxy. It seems to work good for me, at least on the small lures. I don't think it would be good for a big lure because you wouldn't have enough time to apply it to the whole thing. But for small lures like this, it works just fine. Like, I've done it on a few lures already, and it turned out beautifully. So yeah, I'm gonna just put that clear coat on. Gotta mix up that 5-minute epoxy. Usually it's stubborn at first. Alright, and then it just comes shooting out. Okay, and for this clear coat, I think I'm gonna add just a little bit of some glitter to it. Yeah, I've been wanting to add some of this stuff to the clear coat. Not too much, just a little bit. This is like a rainbow glitter, and since this is 5-minute epoxy, I can't show you because I gotta hurry up with the applying of this stuff. You probably could add some sort of like thinner to it, and that would give you a bit more time to apply it, but I don't have any of that stuff, so I'm just hurrying. And I'm just using a silicone brush that I found at a dollar store. It's meant for like barbecuing stuff, like for like putting on the sauce or whatever you put on your stuff that you barbecue. I usually go quiet when I'm applying the clear coat because you have to make sure it's everywhere. And it's got a nice even coat. And you have to do it before it gets to the stage where it's all thick and sticky. But yeah, there it is with the clear coat. I'm gonna stick that on a rotisserie, and I'll be back with you when that is dry, which shouldn't be too long since it's 5-minute epoxy. Yeah, I'll show you what I got for my rotisserie. Basically, it's just a drill and a stick that you kind of rotate. You have to manually hold it, but it's not that bad because it's only 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to that, and then it's done. All right, there's the finished lure with the hooks on. If it would focus. But yeah, like that eye. And this thing, since I put that glow powder in it, it also, the eye glows in the dark. Like that. Yeah. I think this is a pretty cool build. I like the way the paint job turned out. I added some of that glitter in the clear coat, which I think looks really nice. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment down below what you want to see me make next.